On Halloween, why do we eat candy? The fact is, before people gave candy to trick-or-treaters, children got treats like fruits, nuts, baked goods, or small change. It's difficult to remember a period when Halloween wasn't all about eating as much sweets as possible. Whether you like it or not, the two haven't always gone hand in hand. In fact, candy has only been given out on Halloween for a short period of time. We need to go all the way back to the beginning to get the full picture. So, how did Halloween become a thing in the first place? Halloween wasn't always known as trick-or-treating, and it wasn't always known as Halloween. More than 1,000 years ago, Celtic pagans in Ireland and Scotland celebrated Samhain, a 3-day and 3-night holiday. It took place near the conclusion of harvest season, when the barrier between our world and the spirit realm was supposed to be at its lowest. To protect oneself from wandering ghosts, people would dress up in costumes. And to ward off evil, it was also customary to place sweets on your doorstep. Then, if Halloween arrived, and we were all given candy? Certainly not. Many of the Celt celebrations were renamed to fit into the Christian image, and Christianity was thrust upon them in Ireland and Scotland, and Samhain was no exception. All Hallows' Eve was the first day, followed by All Saints' Day, and finally All Souls' Day. People started making a delicious dessert known as soul cakes as a result of the alterations. Visiting affluent homes and receiving soul cakes in exchange for praying for the occupant's deceased relatives was referred to as souling. Children would frequently participate, going out to tell jokes or perform for sweet sweets. Okay, but when did Halloween become a thing? Immigrants from Ireland and Scotland brought these traditions to the United States in the 19th century. All Hallows' Eve became Halloween, and ultimately Halloween, over time. So Halloween arrived in the United States, and by the 21st century, many people were celebrating it. But it was still a unique experience. Adults would hold parties and teenagers would conduct pranks, but sweets was not linked with Halloween at all. By this time, there was even candy present, but Halloween was more about seasonal delicacies and sweets like pumpkin pies and candy apple. And when did trick-or-treating become popular? Trick-or-treating first became popular in the United States in the 1930s, and even then, there was no candy involved. Kids would walk to their neighbors' houses and get only mundane treats such as fruits, nuts, baked products, or modest coins. It's no surprise that bored teens were more likely to go around pranking back then. The sweets were scarcely good enough to persuade them differently. Yes, you could argue that candy apples are candy, and so Halloween involves candy for a longer period of time, but try persuading a child with that logic. However, candy had been available in the United States since the 18th century, so it's not like people didn't celebrate Halloween with candy because they couldn't afford it. It's only that the candy manufacturers hadn't considered it yet. What role does the candy industry play in this? This, like so many other great American traditions, did not begin without corporate meddling. Candy companies had persuaded consumers to buy candy boxes for Christmas and eat chocolate Easter eggs instead of hard-boiled eggs by this point. It was almost too simple for them, but they hadn't considered it. Candy companies didn't catch on to the idea until the 1950s, when they began producing bite-sized copies of their popular chocolates. These new delights were convenient, didn't require any preparation, and deterred naughty youngsters from egging their homes, which made suburban moms very happy. Finally, so, what's the deal with Halloween candy? You could always point the finger upon the Irish, Scottish, or Christian communities. Corporate America, thuggish youths, and bored suburban housewives could all be to fault. It's a little bit of everything, but the main reason is that things have changed, and non-candy goodies have become a rather poor substitute. Whatever the case, maybe we have a feeling that Halloween candy will be around for a long time.